Hello, everybody. Welcome to Neurotic News. Thanks so much for coming and listening again. With Dan Rath. Hey, Dan.
What's going on?
Not much. I had an idea that if people listening were thinking of setting up an Instagram account for the podcast so we can put up clips and stuff related to the content of the podcast, of which there are many, many, many things we discuss and stuff like that. So yeah, but if you are listening to this, of which there are hundreds of people apparently listening to this, even thousands, one might say, then you should message me on social media or whatever it is that you get in contact with me, and let me know if there's any particular moments from the podcast that you think were your favorite. I thought that might be a good idea, like to get the greatest riffs or whatever compilation together. If you've listened to the more recent one about Grilled, where we talked about Grilled, Def Jam comics talking about Grilled, a lot of you messaged me about that, and I'm sure that will make it into the mix. Do you know what I'm saying, Dan?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, yeah, I'm
of.
glad you specified, the Def Jam, because Grilled comes up so much.
Yeah, true. Yeah, the Def Jam riff about the Def Jam
Yeah.
comics talking about Grilled. A lot of people love that. So that would go in, for example. So I'm just thinking of a way that we could put together the greatest clips, greatest hits of the podcast into a clip. It's just something I thought of.
Vignettes.
Anyway, what have you been up to? Have you been watching The Sopranos?
I've been rewatching it for the third time, and the thing that's really struck me about it is, more than anything, is how much pasta they eat. Like mob bosses.
They
just eat like these 4-hour pasta dinner, like seemingly all day. They're just eating pasta, and then they run an organization.
Yeah.
Like the head of the Mafia is running an organization with life or death decisions, and he's just had been eating carb after carb, garlic bread, spaghetti, cannolis, which is just pasta with custard in the middle. Like,
it's no wonder they're killing so many people. They're just like, you can't, after a carb loading, make a decision about whether you should kill Giuseppe or not.
Yeah, I can't. If I have a carbonara, I have to like lie down on the floor of the restaurant.
Yeah.
Like after, I'm like sweating and stuff. Like I'll be sweating.
But they have that vibe though. Like they're always sitting down, the mob bosses, and they're like, yeah, bring him in. Come on, let's like they're not energetic. They're like slouching around. They're drinking that wog coffee, the little wog coffee.
Little espresso that makes your heart burst out. Can you imagine having that after a carbonara? Like eating 4 calzones and then having a little espresso, those micro coffee piccolo thing. Like
they're eating like shit. They're eating tubs of fucking shit food, and they sit around smoking and drinking coffee, and they're always like, hey, they're like really like slovenly, like, and then they got to make a decision about whether they want to cut fucking Giuseppe's hand off or not.
Yeah, totally. They're like, do I have to dangle Pedro off a bridge because he owes me money, like,
yeah.
Or am I going to shtup my gumba? Like they're cheating on their wife. Like they seemingly have this weird, like they've got a lot to do after the pasta meal.
Yeah, they're not getting, that's why I think they're making rash decisions.
Because their blood glucose is all over the place.
Oh, all over the place. They're just like, I don't know, just shoot him. They always do that. I don't know. Oh shit, you shot him. I don't know. They don't know what's going on. Because
they do a lot of stuff like that. Like a waiter will be like, you didn't tip, and then they just like pick up a piece of concrete and crush his head. Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck that. Like, I've just been eating carbs for 7 hours. I'm going to crush your head with concrete.
Yeah.
Like, just get out of my face, as opposed to just getting it all out.
Eat a salad. If they'd eat a salad, they wouldn't be doing that. Like, you look at the Muslims in Arabic culture, right? The Muslim extremists. I guess you could say they're mafia-like in Arabic culture. You'd say ISIS.
They whack people.
They whack people. They whack people.
Yeah.
Hey, what happened? I whacked him.
Well, they do.
I
whacked him with the drone. I sent it into Hezbollah. You mutt.
You fucking dog, you cunt.
I blew up a bazaar in Hezbollah, you mutt.
Yeah.
This fucking Turk.
Yeah, I took a Western journalist and cut his fucking head off. What is it to you, puta? Putana.
Yeah. He was a Fanuc. But yeah, no, that's the thing. It's like crazy.
It's
yeah, because I think they're on the hummus. I don't know what it is. It's something. But yeah, it's just one of those funny words. But yeah, I think that's like, that's the energy that hummus gives you. You know, it's like a light carb. It's lentils. You know, they're like, terrorists are in a state of ketosis when they like send a drone into Hezbollah and blow
Well, you
up
think
a
about
bazaar.
Ramadan is fasting. So
Yeah,
ISIS are fasting. They're eating lentils. They're eating light breads. They're eating olives, which is incredibly good for your olive oil. So they're like, hey, yeah, they're having meetings. They dig tunnels. They're like, what the hell? They're blowing shit up. It's fast,
targeted
strategic,
planes going down now.
Advanced. Then compare it to the mafia boss who's just had 4 garlic breads. Sitting, what does he sit in the chair with a cat? You know, in the famous Godfather. Bring me this guy, that. There's no there's no spark.
There's a bit of but it's a bit of they break balls. They disrespect each other after the carb meal, which I can't imagine either.
Yeah, but can you imagine?
Like, what are you stupid?
Imagine Tony Soprano. Hey, dig a tunnel under to the other guy's house there so we can blow it up with a high-tech explosive at exactly 12 p.m.
Yeah.
No, it's not that. They go, oh, they're carb fuck. They're in a carb fog.
Right.
So they're just
they've got brain fog.
Yeah. They're not digging tunnels and fucking hijacking. Mate, do you know how switched on you have to be to hijack a plane?
Can you imagine just eating 4 calzones and then like trying to take control of a 747
and flying it into the World Trade Center?
Yeah.
Hey, it's over here. I know it's over there, you Kotani. Hey, no, I told you it's fucking this way. And because they ate too many carbs, there's no blood going to the brain. So they're making, you know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, it's like, what other head of an organization eats like 3 servings of carbs all over the day? Like, it's not like the CEO of Westpac has a curry and a coffee and then restructures the whole organization.
You reckon that Jeff Bezos had a carbonara before he went into orbit?
Just sitting in the stomach, just like about to go to space.
Yeah, I'm getting reflux. I can't hear you. As they take off.
Have you ever had an Italian like you have an Italian banquet, the last thing, like I start sweating and stuff. I lose the ability to communicate with the people I'm there with. Do you do that? Like you want to shut off? You're like,
yeah. If someone,
you're like, is there a rumpus room I can lie down in this restaurant? Like, do you have like a rumpus room?
Head with a fucking brick. They couldn't have Tony Soprano up in space, up in the International Space Station. Hey, where's the Tawani and the Kibaldi? I can dip my Baruco in the. They're like, look, mate, we've got fucking freeze-fried vegetables that you add water to, and you're only allowed a certain ration. They wouldn't be able to cope. You couldn't have a mob boss in the International Space Station.
Well, that's why the Mafia is not around anymore. But ISIS is still,
heart disease.
Terrorism still happening. Yeah, they were whacked by their blood glucose fluctuations.
The worst thing they could do to stop ISIS is fucking let Nestle in there. Yeah, wherever Nestle go, the deaths do.
Well, they're on that meta. Yeah.
Because,
because they get processed foods.
Yeah. Nestle,
is that why?
Yeah.
Like processed foods that block the arteries, and therefore, they have strokes and stuff. And
well, the Mafia ate themselves out of existence.
Yeah, you don't hear about them anymore, eh? It's literally, they were killed by dietary reasons.
I was watching The Matrix the other night, and this is what I think is super interesting about it, is that obviously in The Matrix, humans are batteries for the machines, right? And how they're batteries is they're in a pod and their brains are plugged into a simulation, and you live your life, which is a fake reality in a simulation, and that makes your body operate and move and think it's doing all these things, and that creates heat and that creates energy for the computers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. It's
You
like
know, yeah,
the decisions you make in that simulation can fuel the battery.
exactly right. So if you just lay in the pod and there was no simulation, you just die, right? Because you'd just be in a pod and you wouldn't, you're
Marinating.
marinating. But because you're in a simulation, your body believes it's running, talking, laughing, having sex, getting married, having kids, going to work, having your dreams, love, hate, fear, happy, all the shit we go through. And that creates energy. And the more you go through in life, the more energy you create in for the machines. And so I was just thinking, like, in reality, someone like The Rock is actually a great battery, because in his
Yeah,
simulation,
AAA.
he's a triple A, whatever the big ones are, or are they double A?
I don't. Yeah,
No,
it's hard to know, but yeah, he's a big battery.
he's a big battery because he's
He's running around doing things.
he's running around, he's getting on a private jet, he's reading a music script, he's signing autographs, he's go, reaching life to the maximum. He's at the gym pumping iron. Whereas our mate Joel Spargo,
His machine's dead. His battery's dead.
who's
He just
like
becomes
unemployed and walks around with a shopping bag with LAIs, like the fake Coke, the fake Coca-Cola, LAIs. He's like one of those little watch batteries that you used to get in your Casio
that falls into your burger or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that falls into your burger.
Yeah. That's because that means that so the more stimulation you have,
that's what I'm saying.
The better the battery.
The more your body is doing and your mind is doing, like Jeff Bezos would be a giant battery. So in a way, Joel Spargo or dudes that are just unemployed and whatever, not going somewhere in life, are actually the true rebels, because they're not giving the machines any power. The machines are like, why isn't this battery so weak? And it's like, what's he doing? Do something to his simulation. And they'd insert a bot or whatever to walk in front of Joel Spargo with the LAI, some beautiful woman in the red dress or whatever, and go, hey, baby. And he'd be like, oh, I can't get an erection or whatever. And then they're like, God, how can we get this guy to, make this battery? Whereas The Rock.
So they try and send video game characters in to like stimulate something, and you're just like, fuck it.
Right. And I'm just saying, like, someone like The Rock thinks that he's dominating the game, but in reality, all he's doing is becoming a better battery.
Yeah. Like, it's like, that's why Jeff Bezos is such a good battery, because he views life as a video game already. Like, he's finished, like, that's why he's going to space, because he's finished level Earth and now he's on level Moon.
Right. Right.
He's like, I've done that. Now the battery's like, fuck yes, go to the moon. That's even more in the video game. It's like when you play a video game like Zelda or whatever, and the boundaries stop on the game.
Yeah.
When you go to the end of the thing and you try and walk into the boundary, like you've walked out into a field.
Yeah.
You're like, Jeff Bezos is smashing through that.
Yeah, he's going through that. And the machines are rubbing their hands together going, this is a great battery. A great big battery.
It's a good justification for being unemployed and doing nothing.
Exactly, because you're not
like, I'm trying to kill my battery.
That's why there's so much in society telling you not to do that, because then you're a bad battery. It's all owned by the machines, man.
Well, and the Matrix is becoming more and more realistic.
In reality, the Rock is just a thin, pathetic white man with a small penis. Like, I mean,
just shriveled.
His shriveled dick in a vat of goo. I mean, his actual body in the battery.
Yeah, because it's that battery farm where it's like a
his body in that.
It's like an array of
just a pathetic, skinny.
Do you think that body has a cheat day? That body.
You think it takes in more goo
in the vat? Yeah, it's like gets more protein, like more sludge put in 1 day a week as a reward. Does it have its genitals fondled by like a robotic arm?
Yeah, just to
as a reward.
I don't think so.
To get it going. They do that to the doll bludgers. They like you know, they put it like a robotic arm and tickle their balls so that they like
Try and get the battery going.
hopefully
Yeah, get the battery going or whatever. Yeah.
it's like when they attach those things to your nuts.
They're trying to do everything they can to Spargo. But
it's like it's like being in intensive care unit. They're like trying to put like CPR to the thing. But that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you were saying that I think you brought up something that I interrupted you. You were saying something interesting there, that this seems more and more like a simulation.
Yeah, because like you look around, we've got fake news, fake meat, there's fake news, fake money.
Cryptocurrencies, fake money.
Yeah. So you can read about Hillary Clinton being a lizard and then use Bitcoin to eat chicken wings made out of cauliflower.
Yeah.
You know,
the whole thing.
It's like, and this isn't a simulation.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is don't do anything. And The Rock is actually an enemy trying to promote the computers that will rule us in the future.
Yeah.
Free The Rock's mind.
It's funny to fail in a simulation. like it's funny to be in a simulation and like get rejected for Centrelink or whatever. Like why is that in the video game? Like it's just so absurd that can, like, you know what I mean? You can get rejected for a job at Boost Juice or whatever. Like it's like, why is that happening? It's not even real, but you're not even doing well in the simulation.
It's a very strange detail to be like in Centrelink and then to be like, you need a form from your parents' birth certificate or whatever, you know, like the weird bureaucracy and stuff.
And you're like, machines design this? Like this reality, like that I've got to get another form? Like, why is there just, it's like I had a housemate that just punched cones and played solitaire on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And a part of me was like, well, why don't you just, like, it's not like he'd play video games to the best of his ability when he did, because, you know, he'd play video games all day and stuff.
Right.
But it's like, if this is a simulation, this is a video game.
Right.
You know what I mean? So why wouldn't
game?
Yeah, play this game. Like, like go to the shops and, do you know what I mean? Like, try and become an astronaut or whatever. Like, at least try and win the game.
Yeah.
That you're in.
Yeah. You know what you don't hear anymore is, you know what doesn't exist anymore is selling out. Do you remember selling out was a thing that an artist or a musician or someone, you know, like any kind of artist, comedian, rapper, whatever.
Did an ad for Hungry Jacks or something, and
if they did an ad, or it wasn't even that, if they were just too commercial in the 90s. Like if Nirvana or something did like any kind of corporate sponsorship, they would never sell another record because all their fans would be like, oh my God, these guys are total sellouts. But I believe now selling out doesn't exist. Like if Metallica tomorrow did an ad for Pepsi Max, people I don't think would care. Like they're fans. That's an extreme example, but I'm just saying, like, I saw Jay-Z do an ad for Hewlett Packard. And that's not a joke. That's not a joke.
Because that's office equipment too. It's not even
just like
related.
Doing like an ad for a fucking printer or whatever. Yo, printer, what's up? You know, I got to print out my 99 problems and a USB connection ain't one. Kind of shit.
Do you think he prints even? Do you think he's got a printer?
I don't even know if he has a printer. But the ad was like him getting onto a private jet or whatever with a fucking Hewlett Packard pad or whatever. And he's like, yo, we're going to check all my money. And it's just, you know, we're so, you know, there's no such thing as selling out anymore because we're so comfortable with corporations now because they're so good. Do you know what I mean? Like everything they offer us is so good.
Yeah.
Like they used to.
It's all like good stuff. It's like
Hmm.
Google.
Yeah, it's like
You know, it
Google.
helps you.
Yeah, Google's access to all of
You
human knowledge.
yeah,
Your
you can
laptop,
Google symptoms stuff.
PlayStation
Don't go. Don't have to.
VR
Stuff.
is incredible.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I think people like them now because they're good.
Uber and Uber Eats are so much better than taxis, and people bring you food, and it's like I'm not saying
Remember, it
what
was
they.
just the Pizza Hut guy.
Yeah,
Like you could only get delivery from pizza, right? You couldn't just get like, you couldn't get like Thai fusion food delivered
no, there were
before
only
that. Like there was
certain.
no delivery guy
No,
for
in the
pizza.
90s, the only thing that you could get delivered was pizza.
Yeah.
You couldn't get McDonald's delivered. That's like,
Why pizza, eh? It's weird. They were just like, yeah, we'll have delivery for pizza because it's round. Like, what's
I don't
the
know.
reason?
It's yeah, it's so weird, eh? I think
You
it's
can't
just
even get a guy to show up with a Domino's uniform anymore because they don't have them. You know what I mean? Like, it'll
yeah,
be a guy with a menu log backpack, even if
yeah,
you ring up Pizza Hut.
yeah. It's all
I've
like,
tried.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
all fucked up. But like I think when Karl Marx wrote the Communist Manifesto or whatever, back then corporations were evil factories, like that. There's no weekends. They'd throw children into the machinery, and you know what I mean? Like it was a sinister tycoon that ran it in a cape that lived on a hill in a dark
Yeah.
mansion that was haunted and fucking had a big swimming pool of gold, and all the commoners would write pitchforks and have
And a butler would
torches.
come in and tell him like how many people died in incidences in the factory, and he'd cackle maniacally.
Yeah, 14 children died today shoveling coal into the fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now
Like all the products
CEOs,
would cause asbestos and stuff. Like you'd get like the place would bring in like the nails, and they'd like everyone would die of like lead toxicity
yeah, the
because
nails are
it's
made of
just all
lead, and they didn't
poison.
know lead was poison, and fucking now CEOs are
Yeah.
like, they're like cool, like they've got spaceships, and they fucking, the workplaces are like Google, where they have their own chef and they teach you to play the drums, and there's no working hours, and you can wear casual clothes, and you
You can eat a buffet. There's like 7 different buffets.
microdose LSD to be more creative. It's no
Yeah.
wonder people don't want to revolt anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, like Google's free as well. It's like, oh, why would I be angry at Google? I can find out if I have the symptoms for Lou Gehrig's at the touch of a button. Like, why would I rebel against something if that like that? Like,
what's that disease? Did you just say?
that's the one where you slowly become like a little creature.
What?
Like you just slowly lose all autonomy over your body. You know what I mean? Like you just start like your leg will shoot out.
What is the disease called?
Lou Gehrig's.
You become a little creature.
Well, you become a Stephen Hawking type guy.
Oh God.
You know, he kind of became a creature. But yeah, no, I like it's awful stuff. But like you can use this thing to find out if you have that or not. You know, like it's helping you.
It's not helping like you. The old Industrial Revolution tycoon's box of anthrax nails. It's a click of a button, a free service that gives you access to all of human knowledge. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. It does define your access to reality itself, but it's useful.
Yeah,
like in terms of you need it to function, but thank God. Like no one's angry at Google.
No.
It's like if your butcher handed out those little chorizos with toothpicks, you know how they're free?
Yeah.
You know, you go to the butcher and there's like a little meat with a tooth. It's not like you're like, fuck, Butcher Joe's a fuckhead. That chorizo caused me indigestion. You know what I'm saying?
Because he's giving it away for free.
Yeah. So that's why you can't get angry at Mark Zuckerberg. You're like, he gave me a chorizo with a toothpick through it. It caused me indigestion, but I got it for free. I can't sue him.
Is indigestion mental illness and fragmented attention span?
In that metaphor, it's like digital ADD. and depression.
The election of Trump.
Yeah. That's the heartburn of a free little sausage from your butcher.
So in your opinion, is the price? What is the price we pay for Facebook and Google if it is free then?
Mental health and privacy.
Right.
It's a two-pronged cost that's invisible.
Right. Okay.
So I feel like that's why people don't get angry, because you can't feel, you're like, oh, I used Facebook for 4 hours, so I have 10 depression points and lost 7 privacy points.
Right. I see. There's no measure.
There's no numerical measure of like, oh, I lost 4 units of privacy today because I checked in at this hotel using Google Maps or whatever. You're not like, oh, I lost 7 privacy points. That cost me.
Like if you could actually feel see the cost, the result of it, like if you use Facebook for 12 hours, a picture of your penis, like attached with your face, everything, gets sent, sent out at a certain point, or whatever, and you're like, oh shit, the dick got sent out, to all my loved ones. Like there was a, there was a tangible, but it's just a slow seeping of your.
Yeah, it's just the hijacking of your dopamine network. There's no way to like see an image of your brain frying, like
right.
That's as you use it. It's just, you just feel vaguely weird for a day.
So it's kind of like taking an E. Taking MDMA.
This is your brain on MDMA. And also, like, do I really care that Jeff Bezos knows that I like buying like dildo bongs online or whatever?
Right. Yeah. You don't care that he knows that.
Like, I've lost 25 privacy points there, but what? I'm just going to get highly targeted ads about
bongs,
dildo bongs. Yeah. So it's like, it even helps me anyway.
Yeah. I don't think
the loss of privacy ends up helping me.
I don't think he's thinking about that on his way up to orbit. Dan Rath bought a dildo bong.
Yeah, it's not like it actually. Yeah, it's not like he's like, that's interesting, I'll file that away. It's not personalized.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like the Russians where they're like, we have a photo of you getting pissed on.
We will use it.
Yeah. So it's like, it's just vaguely in this weird loss of privacy thing where it never actually hurts you. But
well, all Bezos wants to do is sell you more dildo bongs.
Yeah.
That's what he's
Whereas the Russians would be like, we heard you bought a dildo bong. We're going to tell everyone.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like, it's a
different system.
Different system they use over there.
Yeah. They're yeah. So more interested in power. Like, I don't know.
You think it's also like in the olden days when it was like, as you were saying, like the cape wearing tycoon type thing, there was a bit more of like, the head of Ford or whatever, like Henry Ford, like you could boycott him and go, yeah, fuck Ford, we're going to get like Toyota or whatever.
Right.
Like there were other choices so you could boycott.
Right. I see. Yeah. Well, you can't boycott Apple. You
won't be able to go shopping.
Exactly. You can't boycott Google. Like there's no alternatives. Because
imagine boycotting Google.
Yeah, no one.
And you go on a hike. Yeah.
No one would care.
It's like what you say, like it controls your access to reality. Like if you don't have a smartphone, you can't check in to go to Woolworths to shop during a pandemic or whatever, because there's a check-in system that the QR code system just assumes you'd have a smartphone. So now it's like your access to reality is dependent on this product.
100%. Yeah. You need a smartphone to operate in society.
It's like if Henry Ford controlled all cars as opposed to just a brand of car.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like I can't get into my car because I criticized Henry Ford or whatever.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Or just, I don't want to use Henry Ford's car. All right. Well, you better start walking. I had something interesting happen. I posted a video about if China invaded Australia. It's an old clip of mine and it went viral. And as a result, I've had a lot of comments. To be exact, I think I've had about 1,000 comments, literally 1,100 comments on the video. And most of them, not most of them actually, but so it raised so many socio-political arguments and so much hate from conservatives. Only because I proposed that, I don't know, that Australians wouldn't defend Australia, like that Australia would have struggled to defend itself because we don't have any national pride. It's sort of what the point is, kind of thing. I think I say something like, we wouldn't fight the Chinese. We go, that's racist. And we'd let them in to fill diversity quotas. And the far right wing people with Southern Cross tattoos and utes would fight. That's literally what I say. And people have gone absolutely nuts over it. And that's why one of the great myths about political correctness is that it strictly comes from inner city left wing people. It doesn't. If you want to know how politically correct and offended people can get, insult conservatives about patriotism. Say something about the Anzacs.
Yeah, they don't want to deplatform you. It's more they want to kick you out of the country for it.
They want to kill you.
Yeah. What do you think the triggers are for right wing, for patriotic correctness?
Anzacs, patriotism, nationalism, bushfires, having any goal.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like people are burning. They're burning up. Like, like that's like, don't talk about, there's that's like their kind of version of, like a gender thing.
Trans, dead naming someone.
Yeah.
That's the interesting thing. The left-wing stuff's like individualistic. It's like, don't you say that he's a she or whatever, whereas like the right-wing conservative stuff is like collective.
Yeah.
Like, don't say it's Australia, as Australians, we will, It's like more like about the whole.
Yeah, if you make fun of Andrew Bolt, no one cares.
Right. But if you go, the Anzacs are a bunch of puffs, people will get really, really, really angry.
Yeah, yeah. And it'll just, I think their version of cancelling is like just violence. Like it's literally like you just get punched in the face, or they literally show up to fight. Well,
yeah, that's the thing. Like as someone who works in the arts, if I say something, like just then I said ironically the word puffs, right? Saying that that's something that a right-wing conservative would say, puffs. Right?
Yeah.
But if someone heard that on our podcast in the left-wing arts community, they could potentially tell everybody that, and I could get cancelled and I'd never know. I'd just start getting banned from gigs and people would be like, oh, did you hear? I don't know. I heard he blah, 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 blah. You don't know. Like that's the scary thing about left-wing stuff, is you won't know what happened or why. But with right-wing conservative people, you'll fucking know. You'll wake up with a bag of burning shit on your doorstep. Like, we know where you live. You know what I mean?
That almost mirrors like Soviet Russia. Like, you wouldn't know that Stalin was going to kill. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, oh, you're just like in Siberia now. Yeah. Like people would just wake up in gulags, eating goulash, just going like, what did I do? I just complimented his jacket. Is that so weird?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I just said, I love that for you. And now I'm in this gulag rotting away. Whereas Hitler was like, I've heard what you fucking said. Like, I'm going to fucking shoot. You know what I mean? Like they'd shoot you and you'd be like, oh, it's because I was half Jewish or whatever. You knew the reason.
No, I think there's truth to that. There's a directness. Like in these comments, it's like, there's not an intellectual, like, if it was a left-wing thing, it'd be like, you technically racist because you claim that the sovereign nation of Australia is Australia when it's actually indigenous, blah, 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 blah. Right? But with right-wing people, it's just like, cunt, I kill you, fuck. Like it's all spelt wrong. It's shit like fucking
That's what you're getting, eh?
Yeah.
You're just getting like their photo is like an Australian flag and it's like a guy in a ute going, fuck, I'll kill. Dead, pitbull. Like it's just all images of like pain and coming at you.
It's so true, man. Like one guy messaged me and said, let's execute him on the morning show.
I like that because it's specific.
Yeah, execute him on the morning show. Like it's not an argument like, oh, you technically nationalism is important because it unifies collective ideology. It's just kill cunt dead. Like some just say cunt dead, like just,
Yeah, it's not like the left would never don't do that. It's like it'll be a long essay about how it
Yeah.
made them feel.
Yeah.
And like why it's actually like a subconscious bias that you have that you haven't like come to terms. There would be like a sort of
like you need to learn
jargon to it.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
need to learn the intellectual realities of blah, 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 blah. Not
this
just,
one's like a misspelt death threat, like with like newspaper letters on it and stuff, like the Joker, like dead cunt, fuck.
My youth's got a spotlight for you running cunt. One said something like that. Like put him in the spotlight. Pow, pow, like fucking dead.
So he can shoot you like a kangaroo kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like he wants you to hop around and he wants to be on the back of a ute shooting at you in the bush or something.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it is how direct it is.
I prefer that.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather be going outside worried I'm going to get killed by these people than to have some invisible force destroy my reputation in a way that means I'll never work again. And then you'll be going up to the people that did it. Like in the arts, you'd be like, hey, they'll be like, hey, good to see you, man.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Meanwhile,
like, they've
written an anonymous essay about you and put it through a group chat. But it's like that's the funny thing with that. It's like the right wing, like you'd be like, how you going, Roger? You'd be like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. That's what I said. Fuck. And like, you'd get whatever.
Yeah, you can't turn up
cowed punched
the Australian Southern Cross fucking Patriots clubhouse after you said the Anzacs were a bunch of idiots and expect them to be like, come in, mate. Yeah, no, good to see you. We've just been secretly destroying your They'd just be like, like there'd be guns, like they'd be like, fuck off now. Don't come in.
You wouldn't be allowed in.
Yeah. We want to hunt you like
with the left-wing version, you would be actually allowed into the left-wing funhouse.
Yeah.
To like have a cocktail or whatever.
Yeah. But people would just be like looking at you a bit weird. Like they'd still let you in, but they'd be like, I don't know how I feel about him being here. Whereas in right,
so that exacts
a
far greater psychological tyranny.
Yeah, because you don't know where you stand.
Yeah.